Alright friends, welcome to my trusty dusty workstation. Alright, today we are working on the Schumacher Instant Power 950 peak amp jump box, portable power jump box. It's got inverters on it and no air compressor on this one, and that is just fine. Alright, today we're going to be replacing the battery in this, so we're going to open the back here and get started. Alright, so first thing you want to do, get your leads out of the way, and then we're just going to take off the screws here. How about that? First one's always a doozy. I highly recommend just using a screwdriver for this. You will forego tearing out the plastic that these are seated in. However, for the sake and speed of this video, I will be using a drill, because your time is valuable and I appreciate that you're watching. You are watching me. Okay. So one thing that a lot of people do not do is charge these up as soon as they get them. And then what happens is, it's only for emergencies, so you don't need it right away. And so what happens is the battery just sits there, totally or partially discharged, depending on how old it is, and dies. Batteries like to stay charged. Some batteries like to be used too, but they definitely like to stay charged, even if they're not being used. All right, more screws hanging around, but that's okay. So we're gonna remove the back cover here. And inside you'll see a few things gonna flop around. Our cigarette lighter port, that's gonna flop around, but we'll hook that back up at the end. If we look down in here, we got a big old battery. Ooh, here it is. It is a 12 volt, 18 amp battery, which I have a replacement for nearby. And so we're just going to take this out, put a new one in. All right, hang tight while I grab that nearby battery. Our battery. Alright, so I got a little date label on here indicating the month and the year, because I want to know how much life I get out of this battery. So this is a 12, 18 amp hour nut and bolt battery, indicating that you attach leads to it with a nut and a bolt clamped to the terminals. On to more important things here. So we're going to remove these terminals here, sorry, and simply reattach them to the new battery. In case you're wondering, I'm not using this drill because I love it. I'm using it because it's what I have. Retightening and reducing here. What's strange about it, my word, I don't know if Black & Decker has fixed this since then, but this does the opposite of what you think it would, on like your DeWalt drills and stuff like that. I don't know why. Alright, but it's a good drill. Works well enough. It's weak so that it doesn't strip out the plastic like we were talking about. Alright, got the negative disconnected here. Man, I was flopping around like a fish there for a second. So what I like to do is I take these out and then I actually reconnect them to the nut and bolt here so that I don't lose them, because you can see there's 3 wires here, one small, and I don't want that to get out of my line of sight, and then I forget about it when I attach everything because the box won't work like it's supposed to. And you may be wondering, oh my, there are a lot of wires in there. That is scary. Well, a lot of them go to just little things like you got to power your cigarette lighter port, or the 12-volt port there. So they all serve something. Some red ones go to an on-off switch that makes the box work. So you don't have to do anything with those except leave them alone. The only ones you have to worry about are the ones directly connected to the terminals here. So there's not a lot of room here, so I'm just going to make a wedge with my screwdriver. And rough. Let something fall there. Try not to lose your pieces down inside the chamber here. Alright, I'm going to put this back on so they stay together here. So you see red wires here, so that indicates that this is my positive terminal. We're going to keep all those together. My oh my, there's 4 on this one. Whew. Alright, and then the battery simply lifts out. We can discard it. Thank you, Die Hard. And insert a new one. I'll make sure we have red on this side, so we're going to have red on this side. Black on this side, so we're going to have black on this side. Now we're just going to drop this down in. Your battery might come with new nuts and bolts, but I'm just going to reuse the old ones because they're perfectly good. Alright. Alright. Oh, there goes my nut. My little magnet. Phew. We're good. So, I always prefer to attach the positive side first. Just a matter of preference, but there's also some method to my madness. When you do a car battery, the negative terminal grounds out to the frame of the car. So let's say I hooked up my negative terminal first. All my positive terminal would have to do is touch any part of the frame, and it would act as if it were touching the terminal of the battery on the positive side and arc, because I would be completing the circuit. So I always leave the negative away until we're finally ready to complete our circuit. Because if the positive's on there, that's not going to do it. What was that? All right. Something's, it's not uncommon to get a spark when you complete the circuit here. I'm not familiar with this box and why it's beeping though, so let's connect it and see what happens. Okay, we're on. There's always some small draw, whether it's to fill a capacitor or to light up an LED indicator if you left the switch on when you connect these. Sometimes the spark is so small you hardly even see it. Other times it's bigger, like we just saw. So, just depends on how drained things are in here. If the capacitors are totally empty, you might get a good spark because they're thirsty right away, even if the box is off. All right, this is in here. We got our date on there. We're just gonna close this thing up and see what we got. Now, see that? So what was on was our inverter. So these were on. So that's why this was beeping at us immediately. So we're gonna turn that off. I must have bumped it as I flipped it upside down. All right, let's get our battery in here. So we have it seated, and we got to make sure this is lined up. Our 12-volt cigarette lighter here. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. You'll find the wires have bunched in a way that they weren't before. They might be sticking out the side here. So I've got something going on preventing it from closing. I think it's this wire here. So push that back, see if that helps. Just a little juggling that until it seals. And I think looks like that was it. All my seams to be closing. All my seem to be closing now. All right, we're gonna add one screw in here. All right, and then I'm gonna switch over to the drill. Now, all we're gonna do now is put this back together. Again, if you're gonna use the drill, make sure you are on a low setting so that you don't tear out the plastic. Of course, that doesn't let me open my chuck. So, low setting. Now, as we finish here, it's a good idea to check the voltage of your battery. And I highly recommend hooking it up to your charger immediately. You should have an adapter of sorts to charge with. This one charges through this port here. So you want to hook it up, let it charge until it's 100% charged. Should be indicators. Oh, I went the wrong one. Come on now. All right. So I'm going to hook it up, and you'll see these lights, one of these lights will light up when we plug it in, and that's going to be indicative of how charged it is. There's actually a button right here we can push. Right now it tells us I am medium of the way charged, partially charged. So we're probably sitting about 12.5, 12.6. We want to charge this up to 100%, which is 12.85. There is a way to see the exact voltage of your battery without opening it up. Let's take our multimeter here. And what I do is I'll hook it up to these leads. These don't have a great bite on them. Usually there's and they do for auto jumping, but not for a multimeter. So we're going to hook up our leads to these teeth. We're going to have to be creative here. And this is going to tell us our current battery health. All right, so touching here, so it's 12.64. So, and there's current flowing through here because it's ready to jump a vehicle. Oh, nothing there. Interesting. That's what I thought. All right. This is an interesting design. I didn't realize that this box is always charged and ready to go. So what I just did there, tapping these together, you don't want to do that. This is my box, so I was testing it to see if what I was thinking was true. It's interesting. Most boxes have a switch that you flip to turn on the jump boost feature. For whatever reason, Schumacher decided that this one would always stay on. Interesting, Schumacher. Never cease to bewilder me. All right, so once you fix your box, plug it in, charge it up until this is green, and then you can let it sit till you need it next time. I recommend charging them once a month if you use it. Charge it right after you use it. But if you don't keep up with this, it's not going to be ready when you need it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I appreciate you watching my videos.